What up, tuners? Welcome to my school. It's Sonao here. Today, I'm with,
Rupa Sensei.
as always. Thanks
As
for
always.
joining.
At your service.
ということでですね、今日もルパ先生と一緒にいつもの English Check。
Okay, I'm excited.
もう大人気の企画でござい
What,
ますけど、
episode 7 or something?
これなんと記念すべき 10th ですね。
10th, oh really? Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks for always joining.
It's been an honor.
はい、ということでね、今日はちょっとね、インタレスティングな、セレブリティといってもですね、ちょっとセレブリティが切れてきたので、
Okay.
今日はちょっとフェイマスピーポーというところで、
Okay.
authors ですね。
Ah,
日本の
okay.
famous authors の
Yep.
English をチェックしていきたいかなと。
Yeah, interesting. Authors. Yeah,
So-
very noble career being an author.
基本的にさ、オーサーは頭がいい人が多いからね。
Yeah, yeah, smart people. So
Ma-
I wonder if that's gonna translate to their English abilities.
Yes. ということで、早速チェックしていきましょう。
Let's begin.
Let's dive in.
Let's dive in.
それでは、まず、first person なんですけれども、春木村上さん。
Ah, Murakami, yeah.
知ってる？
I haven't read any of his books, but he's very famous
Ah, okay.
in the West. I don't read too much novels, but yeah.
春木村上さん。なんと、早稲田大学出身。
Okay, what's it up?
で、その後、
Takada no Baba.
そう、高田の馬場。で、小説を書き始めて、also he's a translator だったんですね。だから
Oh, really?
そう、だから、ほら見て、The Great Gatsby とか、
Oh, wow.
あと Breakfast at Tiffany's とかを
Oh.
日本語に翻訳されていると。
Nice. The
So,
Great
so.
Gatsby is a really good book. Yeah.
で、
yeah.
彼の有名作としては、ノルウェーの森、
Okay.
ノーウェイン・ウッド、あと、
Norwegian
海辺のカフカ、カフカ・on the Shore、
Okay.
あと 1QA4。
I think I've seen that book at the bookstore.
これ
1Q84.
これ有名だよね、すごい。
Because I saw that, I was like, that's an interesting title for a book. I don't know what it means, but it seems interesting.
そうそうそうそう。
Yeah.
というですね、トランスレーターだからね、ちょっと期待が。
Yeah, yeah. I think he'll have a good comprehension of English. But sometimes we meet some people and they understand English at a very high level. They can translate, but they can't speak that well. So
Okay.
let's see Murakami's level. Let's check it out.
OK。
He's not who I imagined. I don't know who I imagined. It's kind of interesting about authors.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
never
yeah.
actually see them, right?
はい、ということで、まずは、春木村上さんですね。行ってみましょう。
After receiving a notice of this award, I asked myself whether traveling to Israel at a time like this and accepting a literary prize is a proper thing to do. And whether this would create the impression I supported one side in the conflict and that I endorsed the policies of a nation that chose to unleash its overwhelming military power. Neither, of course, do I see my books subjected to a boycott. Finally, however, after careful consideration, I made up my mind to come here. One reason for my decision is that all too many people advised me not to do it. Like many other novelists, I tend to do the exact opposite of what I'm told. Yeah.
Awesome.
はい、ということでですね、ちょっとプリペアスピーチだったので、その辺はね、ちょっと難しいかもしれないんですけれども、どうでしたかね。
Yeah, well, straight off the bat, fantastic level of English and a great mindset there that he has. Kind of opposite to what a lot of Japanese people feel, you know?
そうだね。
Yeah, he always sees the status quo and goes the other way. Yeah, but anyway, as I expected, his English is very technically great.
technically
Yeah,
great.
so I didn't notice any grammar mistakes.
Okay.
He was able to talk about very high level topics about foreign conflicts, boycotting, political situations, status quos, and was able to engage in that very high level of conversation. And he used a great range of vocabulary. Boycotting is quite a hard word. Endorsing. Yeah, so just like I would expect from a translator, he has a very great concept of English.
Okay.
He understands it at a very technical level. So I'm sure he would be a great person to ask, what's the difference between this word and this word?
なるほど。
There's a lot of people that are like that. They just studied English so much and they really love the rules and the technique of English. Where he does have some shortcomings is in his pronunciation. A couple words he pronounced, especially his L's and R's, like literally. I think he said it was a bit hard to catch. Obviously, I could understand him in the context of what he was saying, but just messing up those L's and R's, it's a common problem for Japanese learners, and it takes a very long time to overcome, and it's a different skill set than learning the technique of English. So he understands what it means, how to use it, but the pronunciation, it's a whole different group of muscles in the mouth, a whole different thing to practice. So little pronunciation mistakes. I think his pronunciation of Israel was like Israel, or a little bit tricky to catch there. But if this gentleman here focused on pronunciation for a good couple months, well, he would be flawless.
欠点なしね。
And that was the only thing I could pick up on. But, that being said, that's being very picky. He's doing an amazing job speaking on such high-level topics in front of such a, grandiose audience there. So, yeah, really amazing English from Mr. Haruki.
どの動画でも言ってるけど、プロナンセーションに注力するよりもボキャブラリーとかイディオムを増やしてくださいねっていうのは言ってるんですけど、まさにそのいい例だよね。やっぱりボキャブラリーとか語彙があるし、グラマーも完璧だからめちゃめちゃ知的に聞こえる。逆にプロナンセーションが良くてもなんかすごい稚拙なボキャブラリーとかイディオムとか使ってると、どうしても英語が喋れてるんだけどみたいなちょっとね疑問を感じ、ちゃんと勉強したのとは感じてしまうから、どちらかというとこれはノンネイティブな人が学ぶのであれば割と優れた例というか、お手本にすべき、もちろん発音もねアクセント気にする人もいるけど、いや素晴らしい例かなというふうには。
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to hear his natural conversation. Like always, it being a prepared speech, you can start to think like, oh, how would he actually fare in a natural conversation? And how's his listening skills? But from what I've seen, absolutely fantastic. And I'm going to rate Mr. Haruki Murakami 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10。
So very good score. Very
ス
good
ピーチ
score.
としてはね、ほぼもう最大ね。
If it was natural conversation and he was speaking at the same level, that would be like an 8.5, maybe even higher. But from what I saw, I think 8's a very fair assessment.
いやでもすごかったね。もう
Yeah, really nice.
難しい話だったね、すごい。でもコンフィデンスもあったしね。
Yeah,
聞き
very
取り
much
やすか
so.
ったですね。はい、ということで村上春樹さん8点ですね。
Fantastic. It's a good score.
ということでじゃあ次に行っていきましょう。
I was actually very surprised.
続きましてセカンドパーソンなんですけれども、たけし養老さん。
Okay, I can't say I know this person.
たけし養老さんはですね、まずですね、東京ユニバーシティの出身ですね。
東大。
東大生。名誉教授かな。有名な作品としてはバカの壁っていう。
バカの壁
450万部。4.5 million
Copy sold. Wow, バカの壁。
そう、450
The
万
Wall
部。
of the Idiot.
Exactly. っていう
Interesting
本
title.
を書いてて、もともとはお医者さんなのかな。
Oh, okay. Doctor.
解剖学っていうのをやってる方で、オーサーもしてると。
All right.
まあ
So he's a smart man.
みんなスマートだけどね。
Yeah.
春樹村上さんもすごい。
Very smart, yeah.
ということで、養老たけしさんの英語をチェックしていきたいと思います。
Okay.
Oh, since you were very small, since you were a child, okay, you loved insects very much. But why you entered University of Tokyo and specialized
Because of common sense.
common sense?
If you want to study entomology, something like entomology, at that time, probably it was very difficult to find jobs. Nowadays, it's quite. There are many museums and universities, so probably I can find some position.
Yes.
And I remember when I was about 20 years old.
OK!
Okay.
すごくカームな。
Very calm, very relaxed. And I'm sure that comes with his, maturity, good understanding of the basics of English, and props to him because this is a natural conversation.
Yeah.
So his listening was great. He was able to catch what the reporter said, and his pronunciation was quite clear. All the words I noticed pronounced very well of what
聞き
he
やすかっ
said.
たね。
Where Mr. Takashi Yoro can have some improvements, he spends a lot of time thinking. This, for me, as an experienced English teacher, is a sign that he's translating in his head. So he still hasn't developed that English brain, we say. He's got a Japanese brain, he thinks in Japanese, and then he translates into English and then speaks, which is fine if you have the time to do it, but it can really break up your conversation and make it feel like very long.
I think that trait comes out with a lot of like smart people because a lot of smart people write, right? But they don't
Yeah.
speak, so they're good at kind of thinking and put it out. But like,
Right.
they're not like do it as
As a-
kind of reflect.
Yeah, just as you said, yeah, that can be a trait of, more smarter people, very intelligent that
Yeah.
like to not make mistakes as well. That's also a sign of a student that has a little bit of perfectionism. They want everything they say to come out awesome, perfect. The students that I've noticed progress the most is ones that just speak and just develop that reflex. And also aren't afraid to make mistakes. Obviously, his focus is on writing, and with writing, you have a lot of time. If he wanted to improve his English conversation, he just needs a bit more of that. Also, it's a bit nerve-wracking when you're on film and being interviewed. If it's just a natural conversation, then I'm sure he speaks much more smoothly. Other than that, his grammar was quite good. I've noticed some mistakes that Japanese tend to do,
Okay.
which is they use probably and maybe a bit too often. He said probably it was harder to get jobs back then. Because in Japanese you have tabun.
ああ、多分難しかったのか
Yeah,
なみたいな
yeah.
ね。
And tabun is so commonly used in Japanese. You use tabun every time.
うん、使
Yeah,
う。
yeah, yeah.
めっちゃ使う。
Yeah, めっちゃ使う. But in English we don't say probably all the time.
あ、そう。
Or like maybe.
あ、maybe も使う。
Yeah, yeah. When I'm speaking to Japanese students, if they're a beginner, they tend to overuse probably and maybe. You can just drop that, right? You can just say it was hard to get a job back then. You don't have to say probably it was hard to get a job back then.
Maybe Japanese personality though, so we're kind of afraid of like being too direct.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah.
でも
Maybe-
if you
yeah.
speak English, maybe it's not a good idea to use a lot of probably or maybe. Yeah.
We tend to communicate more directly. This is especially true when giving advice. When I'm speaking to some Japanese students or Japanese people in my daily life, they tend to say, oh, it's probably better not to do that. Maybe. As a foreigner, I just want to know, should I do it? Should I not do it? Tell me clearly, because I want to know. We say beat around the bush a little bit. I think probably it's a bad idea if nani, and I'm like, yes or no, tell me. Well, anyway, I digress. Going back to the main topic, that's
Okay.
just one thing I noticed there. But other than that, very, very good understanding of the basics
Okay,
of
let's
English.
get to the rating then.
Yeah, I'm gonna rate Mr. Takeshi Yoro. It's tricky because I feel like he's got much more of an understanding. Just in this kind of short video, it was hard. But I'm gonna rate him a 6.7.
6.7. 6 is like だから5がアベレージだからそれよりはまずちょっと上と。
Yeah, yeah.
だ
His
けど
pronunciation was great, and
Okay.
his understanding of the basics was very good.
Okay.
He was able to form sentences. It just took him some time,
Okay.
so it made it sound a little bit.
Then what's
unnatural.
0.7 then?
0.7
Oh.
Instead of just the regular 6, I would say that he's able to stay calm, you know?
ああ、なるほどね。コンフィデンスみたいな感じか。
Yay. Not so much confidence in terms of, standing in front of a big stage, loud voice, and being enthusiastic, more just like calm.
ああ、OK。
Like it's a regular conversation.
日本人って結構こうパッてなっちゃう人が多いか
Yeah,
ら
yeah.
それと比較すると結構やっぱチルな感じで
Yeah.
自然体で話してるってことね。
And one good point in Mr. Yoro's English, Japanese tend to use a lot of Japanese aizuchi when they get nervous.
Ah.
I think, But what was really good about Yoro, he didn't fill his words with Japanese aizuchi. So he just, probably, it was difficult. And that makes it sound much more natural than saying inside your English sentences. Yeah. Nice. But great foundation.
たけし養老さんですね。6.7 点ということでした。
Pretty good
はい
score, actually.
高い点数ですね。
Yeah.
はい。じゃあ次に行ってまいりましょう。続きまして3人目。
Number 3.
次はですね、三島由紀夫三島ですね。
Okay, a lady?
No,
Oh, really? It's
Actually,
a man's name.
he's already passed away, but
Okay, rest in
long
peace.
time ago ね。はい、ちょっと彼の、説明をさせていただきますと、
Okay.
彼は、東京ユニバーシティ出身ですね。
東大
また東大出身で、worked as a bureaucrat at
Finance.
the Ministry of Finance ですね。
Smart guy.
Yes,
Good
but
with money?
he quit working there.
Okay.
Then he became an author.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Then he committed suicide by 切腹, cutting
Wow.
stomach. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, when he was, I don't know, he passed away
people
pretty young.
Do people still do that today?
No, like that's why he's kind of like.
Was
called
he like one of the
samurai.
last?
Yeah,
Yeah,
kind of like
wow.
almost last, I guess.
And it's to preserve your honor, right, in death. You know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think when the samurai were bested in battle, or the shoguns, when they were invaded, instead of admitting defeat, they would do seppuku,
そうそう
right,
そう
to
そう
preserve the honor.
でも彼はもう本当に最近100年も前じゃない1970年だからまだ50年前とかかな560年前にの人だね50 to 60 years ago であとまあ彼のまあ有名な作品としては仮面の告白っていうのがあるんですけど彼はその武士ですごい有名なんだけど
武士道。
だけどその仮面の告白では彼はゲイだっていうことを
Okay.
告白してるの
Oh, okay.
そうでそれがあまりにもセンセーショナルでその小説が有名になったと
Ah, interesting.
そうそうそうそうというまあなかなか面白い
Oh, wow. Oh, I'll have to do some research because I love samurai Bushido novels. One of my favorite Japanese books is Miyamoto Musashi's Gordon no Sho.
あ
But I'm sure there's no videos about him.
あということでねまあ今日はちょっと英語をチェックしていきたいかなと思います
Let's check it out.
はいそれでは三島由紀夫さんの英語をチェックしていきます
Let's check it out.
You can easily find two contradictional characteristics of Japanese cultures or Japanese characters. One is elegance, one is brutality. But these two characteristics are very tightly combined sometimes, and our brutality, I think, comes from our emotion. It is never mechanized or systematized like Nazi's brutality. And I think the brutality might come from our feminine aspect, and elegance comes from our nervous side. Sometimes we are too sensitive about refinement or elegance or sense of beauty of such aesthetic side. And sometimes we are tired of it. And we need sometimes a sudden explosion to make us free from it. And for instance, after the war, our brutal side was completely hidden. But I believe it is just hidden, I think.
Wow, okay.
Well, first of all, the topic was very interesting.
Yeah, so straight off the bat, 10 out of 10 for his wisdom. I could
okay.
tell that this would be a person that I would love to time travel back in time
And talk to him.
and talk to, interview, you know, about Japanese way of thinking, Japanese way of life. Because wow, you can tell that he's a very wise guy, and I'm very interested now in checking out his books.
Okay.
And reading about him. And wow, what
Let's-
great English
yeah.
ability. That was very
Wow, yeah.
much surprised because I'm pretty sure he's probably in the generation before the other guys that we've checked out.
And
But
these days we have a lot of like content that we can
yeah,
learn
yeah,
from
there was no Rupa Sensei videos when he was growing up. But it sounded like he traveled abroad in England.
Yeah, he had a British accent.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, slight
He
British
has a-
accent.
Yeah, he has a slight British accent.
No, I would say moderate to high, yeah. But you could tell that a lot of his words had a nice British accent to them, which makes everyone sound smart. You know? A British person can be talking about something very basic. Oh, this coffee, it's from Lawson. You know? It just sounds very cool, even though they're talking about something very
ファンシーに
basic.
聞こえるよね。
Yeah. It sounds very classy. Also, what I've noticed is if Japanese people study abroad in England, their L's and R's become very good.
シミラーだからね、そのアメリカの R と L ってさ難しいじゃん日本人にはさ、
Right.
下の動きとかが。だけどブリティッシュの方がどっちかで近いよね。
I think so. I think that might be the case because, you know, he was saying words like brutality, and elegance.
Elegance.
Which is super high level words, very advanced words, but he was pronouncing them excellently. Yeah, really awesome English. I'm so surprised. So he did live in England, or you're not
I'm
sure?
not sure, but like he's an elite
Yeah,
So he
I'm
must
sure-
be
yeah.
smart and he studied hard, I guess. But
Yeah.
I'm not sure he was studying abroad. Yeah.
Or maybe he had a British teacher here in Japan. I noticed a lot of people from that kind of samurai families or like really elite will have like a tutor from a young age
so
that
ne.
will teach them English.
Okay.
Yeah, so they have like one teacher for their whole lifetime. It's very,
might be
very honorable thing.
Okay, let's rate his
Yeah,
English. Yeah.
if I listened again and I listened very carefully, I would get some flaws. But from what I've understood there,
I think this is like kind of like natural conversation. For
It
an
is,
interview,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
it is,
yeah,
so-
easily to make mistakes.
yeah, and wow, great wisdom, great everything. I'm gonna rate not a 10 out of 10 because that's like a native, someone.
Okay, but you can still tell that he's not a native speaker.
Yeah, I don't know how.
You feel it. Oh,
Yeah.
he's not like native speaker, but he speaks really good English.
Yeah, I'm gonna rate him a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Yeah,
Wow.
You know what? For his wisdom and a little bit of elegance,
Okay. So
9.2.
9.2.
Yeah,
Oh,
really?
the same as あれだ。三木谷さん、楽天の。
Okay, there you go, 9.2.
Okay, すごいね。
You know what? Yeah, I was very impressed. And,
9.2 はなかなか出ないね。すごいね。
very, very rare.
Good.
Yeah, also very deep topics, natural conversation. I would love to hear what the interviewer asked him so I could test his listening skills too, but I'm sure it was great. He's very charismatic, he's got a smile on his face, stays very calm, and is able to tackle very deep conversation, which is the sign of an English master, a true master.
素晴らしい。Awesome.
Awesome.
9.2 点ですね。はい、ということでですね、最後はですね、ちょっとね、これはもう説明をしないで、
Really?
ちょっと見てもらいたい。
Okay. Is that good or bad?
Let's see.
Let's see. All right. I'm nervous and excited. Excited. Don't worry. Don't worry.
ちょっと見てから。カズオ・石黒さんって聞いたことない。
Kazuo? Ishiguro. No. All right.
ちょっと見てからまたやってみましょう。それではカズオ・石黒さんの英語をチェックしていきたいと思います。
Actually, I only started to believe this was true when the BBC rang me. I'm quite old-fashioned. I believe in the BBC.
Good.
What do you want me to say?
Why weren't you expecting it?
Well, why would you? I mean, why would you expect to win the Nobel Prize? No, of course I wasn't expecting it. I mean, it's not something I generally think about. But it is an amazing honour. I have to say that. I mean, it's a cliche for people to say, winning prizes is an honour. But I think that I would say, the Swedish Academy has managed to keep itself away from the kind of the fray of politics while remaining engaged with world events and politics. Now, I think, for me anyway, I think they do stand for something decent in the world, and at a time when the world is very unstable at the moment, people are very uncertain about values. I do think the Nobel Prize can mean something very positive, and and it's a terrific honour to be here and to do this alongside great scientists and whoever gets the Peace Prize.
はい。
Okay.
ということで。
What do you want me to say? So now 10 out of 10.
やっぱ10 out of 10。
Yeah,
あ
yeah.
なるほど。わか
Very
る
easy, very easy.
わかる。
Yeah. So it sounds like I know he's spent a long time in England. Perhaps maybe his parents English or something.
あ、違う。日本人両方とも。His dad and mom are both Japanese.
Really? Okay.
だけど、
He spent a long time in England. Hey?
そうね、カズオ・石黒さんはですね、He was born in Nagasaki Prefecture in Japan.
Nagasaki. Okay.
Yeah, then he was there until 5. Then
Okay.
he moved to UK when he was 5.
Ah,
Since then
okay.
he grew up there.
Yeah, you can tell. Yeah,
Ah, okay.
yeah, very clear British accent. Speaks better English than me. Yeah, there
そ
you
う
go.
でこの人はですねでなぜこの人が日本でも割と知られている方なんですけども、なんで有名かというと、まず日本がバックグラウンドとして
Yeah, very interesting.
とあと春樹村上さんがねこの時ノーベル賞を取るんじゃないと He was expected to win the Nobel Prize when Kazuo Ishiguro won the Nobel Prize 日本人はみんなこう
Yeah.
テレビを見てノーベルプライズノーベルプライズって言って春樹Kazuo Ishiguro ってなって That sounds so Japanese but not 春樹村上
No one knew it.
そうそう
Oh, no one
で
knew it.
誰だってなったら調べてみたら
This guy.
そうこの人で イギリス人の方だけど名前も見た目も日本人みたいになってちょっと有名になったっていう。
Yeah,
そうそう
interesting.
で、also he's a good friend of actually 春木村上。
Oh, fantastic.
そう
I
なん
guess.
かわかるね。10 out of 10。
Oh, 100%. Yeah, yeah, better English than me. You know, very clear, very sophisticated British accent there.
OK。わかりました。はい。ということで、そういうこと
So good score from all the authors today.
そうだね。一番高かったのが武士道だね。文法。
Other than our man here.
yeah. そう10 out of 10。これは除いてね。三島由紀夫さん、9.2。
Yes.
武士。9.2。
9 out of 10.
はい。
We got an 8 out of 10 and a 6.7. So even though there was only 4 candidates today, you know, everyone had a very good performance.
そうね。
Geniuses.
天才でしたね。ということで今日のテイクアウェイなんですけれども、コンシスタンシーですかね、やっぱり。
That's a good takeaway.
みんなね、頭のいい人たちでもこうやっぱ継続して勉強しているから、
Yeah.
これだけの英語力を発揮できると。
Yeah.
やっぱり英語を勉強してて、フォロワーさんとかから最近3ヶ月ぐらい勉強して全く伸びませんって言うけど、やっぱ2、3ヶ月じゃなかなかね、結果が見えてこないですから。
Yeah, you might see a slight difference, but you have to treat English learning as something that's a lifetime. You'll be learning new words for 50, 100 years. Even I'm a native speaker, I learn new English words all the time.
たまに知らないのあるもん。
Yeah, all the time. Or even new slang words are being made.
スラングなんかは常にリニューされる。
Yeah.
あと英検1級の単語とかわかんないの多い。
Right. All the time.
そうだから、常にね、英語は時間がかかるものなんで焦らず、一緒にね、
Yes.
僕たちの動画を見ながら一緒に勉強していけたらと思いますので、はい、皆さんもこういったロールモデルから一緒に学んでいければと思います。
And enjoy the journey.
そうね、英語の学習をね、辛いものだと思わない、楽しんでね、続けていく。
Ups and downs.
Right guys, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, please dive into like button, leave a comment, make sure to subscribe, check us on Instagram. Then I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.
Peace out, guys.